Parks, you are out here lying on people again. Girl, you done learned your lesson the first time.
Welcome to the Asia Esterak Hour, where film meets conspiracy and pop culture gets a reality check. From sharp recaps to sci-fi theories and media deep dives, Asia Esterak serves it unfiltered. Let the binge begin.
All right, welcome back to the Asia Esterak Hour. I'm Asia Esterak. All right, the Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 16, episode 17, the finale, titled Game Over. All right, we're going to be quick. I definitely slept in this morning again. Anyway, all right, so we open with Porsha, Londi's death, her sister, and Phaedra. Phaedra's going to help them with her arrangements. We find out in this scene that Londi actually passed away while on the phone with Lauren. Whew, that's tough. Phaedra's actually helping them with the funeral arrangements because, you know, she is a mortician, which is terrifying. But yeah. So we're going to skim through this episode. Angela meets with her therapist. She never really said what the lady was, but I'm going to go with therapist. Basically talks about her anxiety with these houses that aren't selling and they've had to reduce the price. And she said that Charles is tired of putting money into the houses. And yeah, we later find out, I think she sold 3, but still had to give away 2. We find that out at the end of the episode. She also talks about everybody coming for her marriage. She talks about that guy that showed up, making those accusations that Charles is cheating on her. She expresses that she wants to find out who sent the dude. We know who sent him. She also talks about, this was interesting. She said that she needs this therapist. I'm going to just call her a therapist for the sake of what she appears to be to me. But she talks about how she needs the lady to be married to Charles, and Charles goes to her as well. That basically... to help with their marriage. She said there's a lot of women coming at him. Angela expressed this a lot, to be married to Charles because he's a celebrity and, you know, he's notorious. So I understand that. Very interesting. So anyway, Shamea is performing at a couple of her songs at this big venue. It looked like the same venue where Candy had her play. I can't remember the name of the theater, but I know it's like a big spot, and I believe it's a historical theater in Atlanta as well. African-American historical theater, so that's dope. So Shamea invites everybody. Obviously, Porsha doesn't come because she's planning everything for Londi's funeral. And real quick, in the funeral, they talked about how she liked butterflies. Had me a little weepy. My Aunt Marion, who passed away from bone marrow cancer, she's the reason me and my cousin even started our medical marijuana business. Actually, that was his business. I was brought in. Anyway, I digress. But my aunt liked, she liked butterflies too. So at her funeral, we let out butterflies. She liked orange butterflies specifically. Anytime I see an orange butterfly, I always go, "Hey, Aunt Marion." Anyway, that was really special. I'm not going to cry. It's Monday morning. We ain't doing that. Not today. All right. So Shamea performs, does a great job. Why is Drew in the audience, though, throwing shade? So in her confessional, she's like, "I've never had to reach that hard for a note." I'm sorry. I can't stand Drew Sidora. I'm blown away that she's somehow still here. You literally bring nothing to the show. Who the fuck do you think you are that you can fucking talk about somebody's singing and shit when you were the most mediocre, bare minimum bitch on this show? And all your fucking stans that love you so much, they love to throw out that you're an underdog. You've been on the show 5 years, boo. If you're still being called an underdog after 5 years, that's a nice way of saying you're mediocre and bring nothing to the show. You have a lot of nerve talking about anybody's accolades and singing when what the hell have you done? Anything that she's done on this show is adjacent to another cast member. Girl, bye. That got on my nerves. Ooh, it's annoying because she'll probably be back next season. Your husband's more interesting than you. Anyway, that shit irritated me. So after her performance, she's backstage. Everyone's, congratulating her, talking to her. And she decides to approach Brit. And before she starts talking to Brit, the camera flashes back to before her performance. Cynthia was there. Cynthia tells Shamea that Brit told her and Porsha that Shamea is talking about her still, and showed text messages to Brit as Brit phrased it back to Porsha, Shamea was showing text of Portia's text messages regarding her lawyer, but we find out later it was actually her therapist. And obviously anyone would feel some type of way, because why is my so-called best friend showing my text messages to the ops? It doesn't make sense. So Shamea approaches Brit about that, and Brit tries to like backtrack a little bit, but then says, well, you did though. And Shamea's like, no, I didn't. And da-da-da. So they kind of start going at it. Here's the thing. Brit, I don't like it all, but I'm going to say this. Shamea, you've done this before on other seasons. So it's not far-fetched to think that you did show Portia's text messages to her. I'm inclined to believe so, because you did it that season when they were all in Spain. You showed Sheree that text message that Porsha had sent her. This was the season following the fallout from the Phaedra Live with Candy. I'm just saying, Shamea, your hands aren't clean when it comes to your relationship, to your friendship with Porsha. Everybody throws it on Porsha, but the reality is it's both of y'all. Because Shamea, you act holier than thou sometimes. And after learning the history between your mom and Portia's mom, I understand the tension. I get it. But we'll save that for the reunion. Anyway, so Shamea calls Brit a whore at one point. My thing with Brit though, like, all you do is bring negativity. You're a nasty specter. Where are Dean and Sam Winchester to rock salt your ass the fuck out of here? She gets on my nerves. Anyway, she brings nothing but dissent. She's terrible. She's a devil and a demon. Yikes. Anyway, whoever vouched for her to get on this show, you need to lose your job. Just saying. Anyway, so we're going to skip ahead. So Angela and Charles have a foundation where they feed hungry families. I think that's amazing. And he said he's been doing that since he was a kid, feeding the whole neighborhood. They showed pictures of them. They've been feeding folks for years. I think that's huge. I used to volunteer at the LA Mission back in the day, and Philadelphia Children's Hospital when I lived in Philly. It's important to give back. I don't care who you are. You need to give back. Give back. It's good for the soul. And it's good for who you're helping. Anyway, so we skip to this party, and everyone shows up, and it was nice. So at the end, Angela addresses the group and talks about this dude that showed up at Kelly's event. She said, so I did a little digging, and she's like, I don't know who this guy is and why he's coming for me. I don't understand why people keep coming for my marriage. And she said, I did think it was a little convenient and odd that he showed up at Kelly's event. So she first starts implying that it's Kelly, right? And Kelly's like, me? Like, and she's like, but you're the one that has the issue. You know, you and Brit have something going on. So at one point, she points the needle at Brit, and Brit's like, well, I'm married. I would never go after anyone's marriage. Girl, you went after Brit's marriage last week. Shut up. Shut up. Yikes. So Angela is like, well, I asked the guy. No. She's like, well, he's here and he's going to tell us who told him. They walked this dude up. I could not believe that Angela actually walked him up. I can't believe this dumbass showed up. So the guy's name is, I think Robert. And I might be wrong, but I could have sworn she said Robert. Anyway, doesn't matter. Bone collector, bad bone collector, clout chaser. So he walks up, he sits down, they're all talking, and so Angela's like, who told you? And he goes, well, Phaedra. Of course, Phaedra's like, who said that? She didn't say that, but that was definitely the vibe. And Phaedra's like, I didn't say that. So, of course, the guy is reiterating how she even approached him. I believe all this, by the way. Phaedra, you've done this before. You've done it before. And if you guys watch the Carlos King interview with Angela Oakley, she doubles down on this. She talks about how she even found out how dude was hired by Phaedra. Phaedra, you've done it before. I mean, Candy talked about you stopping her businesses from opening. You're vindictive. You're a scorned Scorpio, which is the fucking worst. Anyway, so of course she's denying it, and Brit gets it popping too. They start arguing with her. Actually, Brit leaves before dude sits down. I'm sorry. Remember, I don't write shit down. I don't take notes. I go off the top of my head. If I write notes, it'll fuck up the spontaneity. Anyway, Brit ends up leaving. I'm not listening. I'm out of here. Da, da, da. You're out of here because you can't take the heat. You talk all this shit and cannot take the heat. So she unmics herself and leaves. Of course she leaves. And we know she don't show up to the reunion, and now she's suing. You're not going to win. Girl, bye. So of course this is the end of the episode. Phaedra is sticking to the fact that she doesn't know who this guy is. She didn't hire him. Okay, whatever. We freeze frame on everybody. We obviously know what happened with Porsha. It looks like Kelly is finally divorced. Supposedly, Brit is reopening another insurance agency and launching her Bare Naked Essentials. Good luck with that, girl. Your character supersedes any of your businesses, so good luck with being successful. Maybe on fucking Jupiter. But anyway. So they do 5 months later, and they cut to Porsha in her house. I'm so happy I get to film in the house. I like you, Porsha, but you're full of shit with the Simon stuff. Please stop getting on these blogs and these interviews crying about the marriage and everything. Simon did an interview with some lady and basically said he felt like he was targeted. You were. But the reality is you were targeting her too. And it's funny because the Nigerian scammer got scammed. It is what it is. Anyway, overall, this was an interesting season. I don't know why. I, again, cannot believe that they would allow somebody like Brit to even get on this show. I'm shocked that she even got here. I hope it was worth it. It wasn't. I hope they bring everybody back. Drew can go. Bye, Drew. She could go. I'm sure she'll be back. Anyway, all in all, if I had to grade this season, I would give it a B. A solid B. Not a B minus, not a B plus. Definitely a solid B. The reunion is going to be lit. Here's the vibe that I get. I think that Phaedra thinks that she's better than most of the women on these shows. That's why her energy on Married to Medicine was unmatched, because she was in a group full of successful black women that she felt that she felt that she wasn't better than them, so she couldn't overpower them the way she does with the Atlanta ladies. Shout out to Angela for getting her ass together, and it seems like she's going to get her together at this reunion. Anyway, all in all, good season, a lot of fun. Can't wait for next season. Curious to see how this Brit Edie bullshit is going to play out. Girl, you'd be lucky if you get $20. Anyway, it's Monday. It's a new week. 4th of July is Friday. It's hot as shit. So let's stay hydrated. Let's stay nice to each other. And free Palestine.